Alright, welcome to this next video. In this video I'm going to be demonstrating how to use Matlab and kind of getting us started writing some code in Matlab. So if you open up Matlab on your screen, you should get a window that looks something like this. This main window right here is called the Matlab command window. Command window right here. And this is where you can enter Matlab commands. To begin with, you can use Matlab just as like a simple calculator. You can do math, 5 times 789. Enter, it spits out the answer. Now this, you might have noticed that some other things changed when I entered it in a command. You see this workspace over here. It says, hey, this answer variable is now set to a value of 3,945. What this means is we can define variables in Matlab. So I can just name a variable anything so long as it doesn't start with a number. It has to start with a letter. It can have numbers in its name, but it has to start with a letter. So I name a variable rad1. It's going to symbolize a radius. I'm actually going to stop and make this text a little bit bigger. So I'm clicking on the preferences. I want to go to fonts. I want to make this text bigger just so you guys can see it. And let's make it bold. Okay. There, hopefully you guys can see that better now. Anyways, rad1, I'm going to set it equal to a value of 5. So now we can see that I've created a variable called rad1 and I've set it equal to the value of 5. Now I can use this variable to do something like calculate the radius, calculate the area of a circle. And I can create a new variable to save that area. Circle underscore area is equal to pi. Pi is a special variable that's been defined to be equal to the value of pi in Matlab. Pi times the radius, rad1 was the name of the variable, squared. Now this is going to yell at me because I haven't put a multiplication sign in this assignment operation. So if I hit the up arrow key, it allows me to scroll through my command history. So I'm going to come here, and now I'm going to scroll back over to this side, and I'm going to put the multiplication symbol in there. Pi times the radius squared. And now it's calculated the area of a circle with radius 5. Alright, the next thing I want to demonstrate is sequence. So again, up here you can see the variables that I've created. A couple commands to kind of help you keep this command window clean and the defined variables clean. You can delete all the variables that you've defined so far by typing the clear command. So I hit clear and now there are no more defined variables over here. I can also type CLC, that stands for clear the command window, and it just gives me a nice fresh command window. So I'm going to define some new variables here just to illustrate sequence. I'm going to set x equal to 5. I'm going to set y equal to 7. And now I'm going to set z equal to the sum of those two variables, x plus y. So z is now equal to 12. Well, what happens now if I type in y is equal to minus 2? What is this going to do? Well, we see that it changed up here the value for y minus the value of y, but it didn't change the value of z. Z is still equal to 12. If I type in z and press enter, z is still equal to 12. That is because what Matlab does is every time you type in a variable, it says, okay, every time you define a variable, Matlab goes in and picks up some computer memory and says, here, store this number in this memory location. And then it moves on to the next command. And the equal sign actually doesn't mean equals in the mathematical sense. What it means in MATLAB is it means assignment. So it means just take whatever's on the right hand side of this equal sign. So in this case, when I set z equal to x plus y, didn't permanently make z equal to x plus y. All it did was say take whatever's stored in x and whatever's stored in y, add them together, and then whatever number that is, set that equal, put that value in the memory place where the variable z is stored. And so just to kind of illustrate this, what you can do is you can say z equals itself minus 2. And so what this is going to do is it's going to say, hey, take whatever z is equal to, currently it's equal to 12, and then subtract 2 from it, that's going to be 10, and now set that assign z to be that value. So it's going to overwrite 12 and change it to 10. So if we do that, now we see z is equal to 10. So you need to look at the equal sign as just an assignment operator, not an equal sign. What it means is take whatever this evaluates to, whatever number this evaluates to, and assign it to the variable z. Okay, now we've entered in a whole bunch of commands, and you might have noticed, I'm going to clear this command, clear my variables and clear the command window again. You might have noticed when I type in and I define a variable like x equals 5, the command window spits out, kind of repeats what you said and says, oh yeah, x is equal to 5. And if you don't want to see this MATLAB echoing what you told it, then what you can do is you can use the semicolon operator. So you can say x equals 5 and then put the semicolon there, and it won't echo it back out, which is useful because when I teach you how to write scripts and functions and you have lots and lots of lines of code that are going to be executed and you don't want to see what each one of them does, you'll want to use that semicolon operator to suppress that output. Okay, let's talk about Matlab scripts. So I'm going to go ahead, clear this. Again, I'm going to type in some commands. X equals 5, y equals 7, and z equals x plus y. I'm going to hit enter. Now you see all these variables got defined, and you also notice I wrote all the commands on one line separated by semicolons. You can do that. Now what if I want to save commands that I've entered in MATLAB and then rerun them some other time? So maybe I have a sequence of commands that I run frequently and I want to save them so that I can just type in a single thing, hit enter, and it runs. Well, that's what Matlab scripts are for. So a Matlab script is just a sequence of MATLAB commands that you save to a file. So I'm going to come over here and click on this new button, and I'm going to click script, and you'll see now our interface has changed a little bit. The command window has been shrunk down here and set at the bottom, and it's opened up this editor, which is a place for you to type in MATLAB commands that you can save to a file and then run in the command window. So I'm actually going to show you how you can undock this window so that it's separate. You might see any of these, the command window has this little arrow you can click on and it pulls up this little menu here. Well, all the windows have them. The workspace window has one. The editor has one. If you click on it, you can click undock, and that just pulls it out separate, Now you can see here's the command window, and I'm going to pull in the editor and maximize the editor, and I'm going to show you how to write a script. So all I have to do here is type in whatever commands I want to be run in this script. So I might type, first of all, I want to clear all variables. So I'm going to type the clear command. Then on the next line, I'm going to type x equals 5. Then I'm going to type y equals 7. Then I'm going to type z is equal to x plus y minus x divided by 2 plus y squared. Okay, so now I've got some commands that I've typed out in this script. I can save it. So I come up here and I click the save button, and you can name your script anything. It's got to have a .m extension. All Matlab scripts and functions are saved as .m files. So I'm just going to title this sequence.m, and I'm going to save it on my desktop. Come on. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, I'm just going to save it on my desktop. And now I should be able to go back to the command window. Let's see here. I'm back in the command window. I'm going to go ahead and clear this. And now I'm going to run all those commands at once by typing in sequence. Sequence is the name of my script. And it's actually going to yell at me because it's undefined. And the reason that is, this kind of brings me to this window over here. Matlab, the command window, is always pointed to a specific folder or directory on your computer. And right now, the directory that Matlab is pointed to is home Joseph, which is my home directory. And so I actually need to point it to the desktop. So I can come up here and click Browse for Folder, and I can click on the desktop, click Open, and now I can see my desktop, and there's a whole bunch of stuff on there, and here's my sequence script. So now I should be able to run this. I'm just going to hit the up arrow key on my keyboard to scroll through my command history. I'm going to enter sequence, and you didn't see any output, but that's because I put semicolons after each command. But you see over here, now I have variables defined. X and y were set to 5 and 7, and z is now equal to 58.5, which is whatever, that command that I typed out setting z equal to. So cool, now you can see that you can write some code in a script, save it, and then run it from the command window, and it will run all the commands in that script. Let's go back to the script here. In what order does Matlab run those commands? Well, these numbers over here tell you the line number in your script. So Matlab, when you type in sequence, it says, okay, I see you have a script named sequence in this folder. I'm going to go in there and look at the commands, and it looks at the first line, and it says, okay, run the clear command. Then there's no more commands on that line, so it goes to the next line and says, okay, assign x the value of 5. And no more commands, so it goes to line 3, and it says set assign y the value of 7. And then it says, okay, assign z the value of x plus y minus x over 2 plus y squared. And it's going to go ahead and resolve whatever these numbers are in terms of what they were set equal to before, to assign a value to z. So it literally just goes line by line by line and runs those instructions or those commands. Okay, so that's a Matlab script. Now I'm going to use this script to kind of show you another feature of Matlab programming languages, and it's common amongst all programming languages, and that's the ability to write comments. So if I didn't want z to be defined, but I wanted to keep the code here, maybe I wanted to test something else out, I can just insert a semicolon, not a semicolon, a percent sign, and you'll see how this text has turned green. What this means is this code has now, this line of code has now been turned into a comment, and it won't run. Matlab, when you type in sequence into the command window, it'll say, okay, I see you have a script named sequence and there's some commands in it, let me go in. It'll run this command, this command, this command, and then it'll come here and it'll say, hey, this line starts with a percent sign, so that means everything that's on this line isn't code, it's just a comment, so skip this line and move to the next one. And then it says, oh, okay, there's no more lines of code in this file, then we're done. So just to demonstrate that, I'm going to save this. I'm going to switch back to my my command window, and I'm going to run sequence again. And now you can see that it didn't define z because that line was commented out, and it only defined x and y. So comments are very, very useful when writing snippets of code, snippets of commands, code. When I say code, I just mean this is code right here, right? Comments are nice because they allow you to annotate your code. So I can actually, at the top of this script, I can type in a description of what this script is for. This is a script I wrote to illustrate programming concepts for a tutorial, video tutorial. And now I kind of know when I come back and I look at the script later, if I save it and it's important to me, I can kind of know what's important. The other thing that makes it useful is you can easily comment out large blocks of code to say you want to test just one piece of the code. Say I just wanted to, say I didn't know what the clear command did. So I don't want to run all these other lines of code, I just want to figure out what clear does. Maybe I would clear in context of these other variables. So maybe I could delete this. What is going on? Hold on. I'm going to put clear here. And also, let's say I wanted to figure out what clear is. I can highlight this, and I can click this button right here that says comment, and it'll comment that out. Now I can run my code, and it won't run these lines. So I'm going to save it. I'm actually just going to hit Control S. Actually, for some reason my keyboard's doing something weird. Anyways, now I can go back to my command window, type in sequence again, and hey, nothing showed up. So hey, now I know that the clear command clears my workspace because I defined a variable and then typed clear and it got rid of that variable. Anyways, that's how comments work. Please use comments when you write code to help other people, and including yourself, what your code is doing or why you wrote a certain piece of code, especially if it's complicated. You'll get a better feel for this as you go along. It just takes practice. So I think I'm going to stop this video here, and in the next video I'm going to talk about Matlab functions, defining Matlab functions. So I'll stop this video and we'll see you in the next next video.